Hey, what's going on people? It's SGZ here from the SpartanGameZone, and in this video we'll be going over the sheer number of level cap increases Borderlands 3 received over its lifetime and how they affected the game and us as players. A level cap increase has a big impact on everyone playing, with both positive and negative consequences. And have that happen 5 times along the way makes you wonder if the good really outweighed the bad when it was all said and done. Today we'll be analysing the effect they had on Borderlands 3 compared to previous games and what could have been done differently. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like. Feel free to subscribe if you'd like to, or you could even follow me on Twitter, and do let me know what your thoughts are on Borderlands 3's level cap increases, and let's crack into it. Borderlands 3 opened with a level cap of 50, which was the exact same as previous Borderlands games. The original Borderlands began with a level cap of 50, so did Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel. It's only Wonderlands that sits below that at launch with 40 levels, but we don't talk about that anymore. In Borderlands 3, those 50 levels meant a little more, as your ability to select an action skill opened up at just level 2, allowing you to spend a total of 48 points within the 3 available skill trees. It took just 4 months before the bar was first raised on February 13, 2020, increasing the level cap from 50 to 53. The biggest impact a level cap increase has, or a chaos level increase, same type of concept, is its tendency to make your hard-earned gear obsolete. Each time one comes along, the gear you currently have is no longer the strongest it can be. So if you want to be as dominant as you were, you need to get them again at their new highest level. Now that's not a problem in itself, it's farming, it's literally ingrained into the game, but I think the problem Borderlands 3 had during its life cycle was we had to do it 5 times, 6 really when you count Mayhem 2.0, and 7 different farming cycles if you want to count the initial round of farming you do at level 50. We went from 50 to 53, then to 57, over to 60, then to 65, and finally ended up at the current level cap of 72. The first one happened right after a red chest event, which granted us a bunch of fresh legendaries, which instantly became old news and turned the whole event leading up to it into a complete waste of time. The trend of launching massive legendary farming events the week before a level cap increase continued for the remainder of the game. When we needed them most, they couldn't be found, and when they did come along, they may as well not have even been active in the first place. I have absolutely no problem farming things again, but the problem creeps in when you're just doing it for the sake of it. And that's kind of what it felt like early on with Borderlands 3. I fear at least that first level cap increase drove people away, and I'm hoping Gearbox are aware of the demotivating factor they have when not done right. When we went from 50 to 53, we were 1 point away from speccing into 2 capstones, which would have been worth it, but they stopped short and essentially forced us to repeat the grind we had just done for no gain. The community wasn't impressed by it, and they had every right to be. The red chest event ending just prior rubbed extra salt into that wound, and there was concern that level caps would be held hostage and used to extend the lifetime of the game through forced farming over some meaningful new content. With the benefit of hindsight, you could argue they were, or at least the first one was. As if Gearbox hadn't heard the impact the first level cap had on players, they released another just 6 weeks later, taking the level cap to 57, and that kept happening every 3 months from then on. Ever since the first one, players were asking for a way to level up their existing gear, a means to avoid dumping that god roll you'd spent hours farming. Destiny provides players with such an ability, but alas, Borderlands players with all their Iridium couldn't even spend it on anything meaningful for the first year, and a level up machine would have been perfect. It hurts when you run the cartel event and get that perfect OPQ system, yellow cake and no pew pew at that max level of 57, just for the level to bounce up to 60 3 weeks later. Sometimes it do be like that, but I'm not sure it had to be. Everything turned out okay, but I'm sure things could have been done better. With so many refarm markers in the sand, I'd say it hurt the game in the long run. Aside from the first and the last one, all subsequent level cap raises coincided with the launch of the story DLC to sweeten the deal, which for me was a nice enough distraction, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts on how much easier that refarm process was when you had a new DLC to jump into with more legendaries. It's of my opinion that those farming events that preceded level cap increases should have happened after them, and I think we can all agree on that. It would have softened the blow and given us a great pathway to getting our gear back where we wanted it to be. Borderlands 2 had just 2 major level cap increases, and after Borderlands 3's third, we were still 1 point short of where Borderlands 2 managed to get to with 1. Granted, Borderlands 2's level cap increases were premium DLC, you had to pay for them, and I feel Borderlands 3 definitely did the right thing by making them free, but again, there's definitely room for improvement. I don't want to go into Borderlands 4 and see the same trend, or a repeat of the Chaos 50 treatment Wonderlands received. It's not like raising the level cap is easy though, there can be some extreme technical hurdles that must be overcome, and a lot of that relates to balancing. Borderlands 2 didn't see its first level cap increase until April 2nd, 2013, almost 7 months after launch, compared to Borderlands 3's 4th. It coincided with the introduction of Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, a new challenging difficulty which introduced Iridian artifacts and pearlescent weapons. The final increase brought with it Digistruct Peak and OP levels 5 months later on September the 3rd, 2013, so about 1 year into its lifetime. Those 2 level cap increases were significant, adding 11 levels each for a total of 22 more skill points to spend, and you needed them because Ultimate Vault Hunter mode is, in all fairness, kind of a train wreck. It completely lacks any kind of balancing and is dependent on slag every step of the way. You can only use a few select items and builds if you want to find success, and true Vault Hunter mode is widely regarded as the best balanced version of Borderlands 2. The pre-sequel also received 2 significant level cap increases, each of 10 levels, and again premium DLC. As far as the balancing impact level cap increases had on Borderlands 3, there's no doubt your Vault Hunter becomes more powerful the more skill points you have available. Borderlands 3 Mayhem 10 is definitely easier than Borderlands 2's OP8, but the difference in balancing is more an issue around Ultimate Vault Hunter mode and Mayhem 11 rather than the level cap increases themselves. It's not like we needed them to make our Vault Hunters more powerful when we got them, but of course we do want to level up at some stage, but just not as staggered as we did. The extra skill points granted to us in Borderlands 3 aren't as big of a deal in terms of excelling at the highest difficulty, but the level cap increases that carried them were to us as players, and that came from the size and amount of them. A level cap increase always comes with a negative, and that's in the time you take to refarm new gear. The goal of the level cap increase should be for the positives to outweigh that negative, and I'm hoping Gearbox can get that right for Borderlands 4. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned about the level cap increases in Borderlands 3 and what impact they had. If you did, consider dropping a like or subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one.